what does it say? Oh yes, it's being streamed. Good. And I need to press the record button. Okay. So I think everyone's in. There's a couple of people missing. It was Jalika. She's at work, so she sent her apologies. So I'll catch her up anyway. And I think Shamima, she's quite new, so I'm not sure if she's not responded, but I'm sure she'll catch up. Anyway, guys, so can you all hear me? I'm not like sounding like a robot or glitching out or anything, am I?
No, we can hear you.
Perfect. No worries, because I want to come to literally aim high here because at home my internet sometimes plays up, so I thought I'll just come over here and it's freezing, so that's why I'm wearing a scarf as well. Let me pop this in. I can hear you loud and clear. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Right, guys. So the kind of whole point of today is just to put faces to everyone, because I know we've all either heard each other on text or something like that, but it's just getting to see who we all are, but also getting to know one another. So you feel comfortable to like share resources or share ideas or whatever it is that you guys need to do. And the second objective, which I'll go over, is the big one, is coming up with a curriculum that we can all use at Aim High. That's consistent, whether you're doing online, whether you're doing face-to-face, whether you're in Hyde, Oldham, Chatham, wherever you are, just to make it really kind of consistent and easy for you guys when it comes to planning. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I think Mariam, are you okay? You're struggling to connect. It says that you're loading. Is it working? Okay, I'm sure she's there. Cool. So there we go. So I thought I'd be a bit geeky after watching some of after watching you guys doing all these top lessons. I need to live up to it. So I made a little PowerPoint, but we'll see how it goes. So, oops, hang on. Let me just pause this. Okay. Right, okay. So, lost system resource benefit. Okay, guys, just double check. Can you all hear me? Because it is telling, giving me. Okay, right. So I'll do it this way. I've just gone over it. So kind of meeting objectives and intended outcomes. First of all, to get to know the team, as I mentioned, and to develop a consistent curriculum and resource bank for all primary tutors at Aim High, year 1 to year 6. But before we get into all of that, let's get to know each other. Okay, so first of all, what I wanted to do is literally for you guys to introduce one another, tell us what you do, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so Naima, you're at the top of my screen, so you're first.
Okay, so I'm Naima. I'm in second year of uni. I do counselling and psychotherapy. So I've been in Aim High for three or 4 years. I'm not sure. I've lost count. But I teach. And right now I have 9 classes. So I do 9 classes. Year 2 to year 6, sorry, year 1 to year 6, and also I've started doing year 7. So it's my first time doing year 7, but they're low level, so I can teach year 6 stuff to them. Yeah, is there anything you want to know?
No, just a quick, so when thanks for that introduction. When Naima first started, she was brand new. So yeah, like I do normally, we just dropped her into the deep end, and she's, over the time, she just got so much better. Like first it was daunting, wasn't it? But then now she can manage the kids' behavior. She does a really good job teaching. The kids are engaged, and you've actually had, I think, just looking back, your classes have actually, most of them have been stuck like for a while. They've stayed with you, which is really good. So that's as a result of all your hard work and how much effort you put into your lessons, because I know you put in loads. I was just downstairs looking at your rewards chart. I'll show that to everyone. It's really good. Then okay, cool. Thanks for that, Anisa and Nabila. You can all speak one at a time.
Okay, I'm Anisa. I've been at Aim High for the same amount of time as Naima as well. Henna actually introduced me to the job, which I'm so thankful for. At the time, I was studying biomedical science, left it, but yeah, I've been tutoring I did EYFS when I first started to year 6 as well. I've currently just covered 11 plus, which is quite a new challenge, and also like 9 I started year 7s, like the lowers. So it's been a quite nice range. I'm a second year uni student at Huddersfield, teaching early years to primary education. Yeah, and I've learnt a lot from uni and aim high. So any questions, feel free to ask me, guys. I don't mind.
I'm Nabila. I've been working with Aim High since last July, I want to say. I'm second year uni student at MMU. I'm also doing primary teaching. I teach year 3 and year 4 on Tuesdays, and year 1 and year 2 on Saturdays.
Perfect. So you probably wondered, guys, they're both sisters. So initially when Anissa joined, thanks to Henna who introduced her, she started in Glodwick, like you said, and from there, we recognized that you're very talented and you had so much potential. At that point, you were kind of in the between whether do you want to get into teaching and come out of your existing university course, and you made the decision. Obviously, I'm guessing Aim High helped a little bit towards that.
Yeah,
as well.
it did. Yeah.
That you want to work with children and make a difference, and you've ever since you've been doing a fantastic job. It's like parents are always happy. They're always mentioning, saying, passing on messages to say thank you, and really good. You've done a really great job. And then Nabila came along because Anissa's sister. So one of the things you might have realized, a lot of you might know each other somehow. In some way, you might be connected. So the way I kind of prefer to get people on board is through recommendations from good tutors. So if someone's really good and they say, oh, this person might be good, I usually take them on. Sometimes I don't even check up on them because I trust what our tutors say. So then that's how Nabila came along. And obviously Anissa's been supporting her, and she's very early on in her teaching career, but she's been doing really well, really good feedback. The parents are really happy. And you can, what I like is when you guys try different things. If it's not working, you try something else. Being organized, that's key. And you guys do that really well. So thanks for that introduction, girls. Thanks for a great job. Great work.
Welcome.
No worries. Henna.
Hi.
Go on then, you can introduce yourself.
So I'm Henna. I've been with it. So I started off with Aim High. I think I forgot what year it was, and then I was there for about 2 years, I think. And then I left, and Anissa took over. And then now I'm back again after a couple of years. I'm teaching at the moment 1 year 4 child and 1 year 6 child. I go to Liverpool Hope. I'm studying education and philosophy. I'm in my final year, so hopefully graduate this year, inshallah. And yeah, that's about it. I'm a teaching assistant as well at a primary school in Oldham. So I'm there part-time, and I've been there for about 3 years now.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Henna. Yeah, and like Henna said, similar story to everyone. When you first came in, I can't remember, how did I find you? I know, by the way, I used to sell sweets to Henna, as the shop underneath Aim High. So that was our family business. So she used to always come. I think I sold sweets to everyone in her family. So they used to come in after mosque to buy, who knows it, mitagua.
Do you know what?
Right.
Say mitagua, and I've got a box right here.
Yeah, she buys boxes, right? To the point where she ends up supplying us, like the shops. So she's crazy. So she's had a sweet to then, since then, I've watched her grow up, and then I think you just came on board with Aim High. First, you were, again, very similar situation. You were learning out, you're starting out, you weren't sure whether you want to get into teaching or teaching assistant. And you just got better and better over time. And
I think everyone really does. I think at first it is daunting, like you say, at first, but then once you get stuck in, I think it just gets better, especially with like the likes of Ikra, who are there to help you. And especially with me at the start, like Ikra was there, I watched Ikra, and Arif's always helpful.
Yeah. It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. Yes, so you followed on from Ikra, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, Ikra's not here, but Ikra was actually same position as everyone else. She was just dabbling in. Should I get into teaching? Should I not? I don't even know where I got Ikra from. And then she came in. She was starting to teach like the kind of naughty kids, but she was doing a really good job of it. And then eventually with Ikra, I noticed, oh, she's got, she's really organized, and I think we can use her for coming on board, like doing more of the management side, and that's how she came onto that. But yes, so you followed Ikra, and yeah, over time you've been doing really well. And what I do like about you is the way you plan lessons, and you try to not just do one thing and think, oh, this is okay, I'll just stick to that. You just try out different things. You're always like talking to parents and giving them information, and thorough, which is good. Like you go into detail, and yes, it's been good watching you grow. And I'm guessing Aim High has contributed to your decision.
Definitely.
Okay, no worries. Cheers, thanks for that, Hannah. And Medj, let's go.
Okay, so I know it says Medjabeen, but nobody calls me that. It's just Medj. I'm a second year student. I'm doing speech and language therapy at the University of Manchester, and I've been at Aim High since September. Naima introduced me to Aim High. I came through Naima, and I'm doing year 3, 4, and year 5, 6, and I've got 1 year 8 class, but they're a little bit different.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, again, Medj came through Naima, and all in the same boat. Never taught before, but as soon as Medj came, like I knew that she's going to be really good. She started as soon as she'd come, her lessons would be really planned. She'd plan things out. She'll stay for ages afterwards as well, marking books, taking books home, organize the classroom, sorting Aim High out as well. It's been quite messy recently, hasn't it? And you kind of putting things in place to keep it organized, which I like. I like it when people take ownership. I've always said this to people, that when you come to Aim High, it's not like, oh, I'm working for someone, I'm doing my hours, I'm going. It's you guys making it your own so that you grow with it, and for you to be proud of being part of an establishment. When we first started, there was literally just me teaching. I would get like my little sister, my mom to even just sit in the class while we had a class full of like year 1s, year 2s, year 5s, everyone. And I'll come to that in a minute, how we set up. And but what I like about Medj is you're trying different things, and you're learning as you go along, and you're making a difference. You do really well with the kids, and trying out different things that you're doing, like those two. I know you're doing the times tables. Is it times tables, or where you check and see how quickly they can do it, and you have like a reward system? Yeah, so those things are really good. And in a short period of time, you've like grown so much. And you've had probably the least amount of support. You came on board. Naima said, yeah, should be good, and we just dropped you in. So you probably had the hardest job. I remember Ikra not knowing, and she was given like 10 students in one class, and this was like your second lesson in, and you've done so well to be able to like rise up from that. So thank you so much, Mitch. And Mariam from Hyde.
Hi everyone. Might hear some background noise. I'm in the cafe at the moment, so apologies for that. So my name is Mariam. I'm a school counsellor now. I was a TA when I first started Aim High, so I started in September. So I started with Jalika, and it's just I've been with year 5. I'm with year 5 and year 6 students at the moment, but I've worked with a range of year 3, year 4s as well, and some year 2s. So a bit of a mix there, since some students have left.
Yeah. So thanks, Mariam. So Mariam is just very quite new to Aim High, and they're in the Hyde branch. With the Hyde branch, it's a lot smaller. It's not, we are kind of struggling to keep it open at the moment because it's just, I'm not there. We need a bit more push on marketing and stuff like that. But Mariam just has recently come in, and she's been working with the younger students, and she's been doing really well. I've not actually been in to see Mariam yet, but Jalika tells me you're fantastic. So we just, even if we've got one student, we just try to keep you on board. So as it grows, and then you can grow up with it. But you've always done a fantastic job. So thank you so much. And let's have a look. Fajana, can't see you, but I'm sure you're there. Oh, there we go. Hi, Fajana.
Hi everyone. It's nice to meet you all. I'm very, very new at Aim High. I only started officially last month. So I'm still getting used to how things work at Aim High. Yeah, I think it was, even though I'm not a teacher at Aim High, I do the management side at the Chellington Centre. So my tasks are a little bit different to yours, but it was still daunting for me as well. Again, I've never done it before. It's like the first time I've done something like that at Aim High. So I feel like my process is a bit similar to yours as well. I'm just going with the flow and yeah, hoping to get better at what I do.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Fajana. So I've added Fajana in here last minute, although she doesn't tutor. She's kind of taken on the role, like, you know, how Ikra does managing, talking to parents, managing the branch at Chadderton, but also like quite a lot of the admin management stuff. So I thought it'd be really good for her to come and actually see you guys. So when you get in messages from some random number, not, you know, think, who the hell is this? So this is Fajana, and she'll be in touch with everyone, like Ikra does over time as we train her. And, you know, you've done a great job as well. You've come in and you're growing into the role really well. And, you know, just going to get better and better. So I think that's it. Otherwise, I'll go on forever. So thanks for the introduction, guys. And hopefully that's been kind of useful. Another thing I wanted to just quickly talk about is, and I'm going to try not to make this one long because I know with meetings, they go on forever. So what I wanted to do is just tell you a little bit about, okay. Sorry, my PowerPoint's slow. Right, I'm just going to quickly tell you about how Aim High came about initially, just so you know and you can put perspective to it all. So initially, Aim High was I would do. I don't even need a PowerPoint. I don't know why I'm doing it. But anyway, so initially, Aim High came about when I was doing my undergrad. I was doing PGC actually. I did masters in aerospace engineering, and then I decided I wanted to get into teaching. Because of the family situations, my father passed away and I had to run the family business, that corner shop, you see. And rather than going into the aerospace industry, I realized that to kind of stay closer to home and manage everything at home and the business at the shop, I'd do like a teaching course and see how it goes. And then I used to like teach karate and stuff like that. But I thought I'll do a PGC, and from there, I thought, you know what, as I'm doing the PGC, I'm going to go to people's houses and teach. So I used to go like here and there when people, you know, wherever I could. And just mainly for the experience, just like you guys, and I teach kids like the alphabets, ABC, and all these different weird and wonderful things. And from there, I realized, hang on, you know, I can only help one person at a time. I want to be able to help more people, because the aim, you know, for me is why help one person when you can help lots of different people get to where they want. So that's when I set up Aim High, and it was at the back of the shop. So there's a butcher area at the back. We weren't selling meat at the time, so I thought I'm going to convert that. So whatever savings I had, I just broke it all down, made a makeshift classroom at the bottom of the shop, and then from there, in the area of Glodwick, I don't know if you know, but it's quite a deprived area, quite a rough area. There's lots of kids. They're really clever, but they don't really show potential. They do show potential, but they don't have the opportunities. So I grabbed them off the streets and started to forcefully teach them, and then called their parents in and said, look, your kids are learning. And then from there, you know, it grew, started charging a little bit, and then blah, blah, blah. It grew and grew, and then went upstairs the shop where we used to live, converted that into classrooms, and then came Chadderton, and then, you know, we grew from there. But recently, we are growing rapidly. Like, so we are spending a lot of money on like marketing, like literally hundreds of pounds per day just to grow it. So you might have noticed, especially if you're doing online, that there's a lot of students coming in from like different parts of the country, like London, Scotland, Birmingham, all over the place. And that's one of the reasons we're marketing it, so that we can reach out as many people as we can, so that we can help as many people as we can. Because our main mission is for Aim High to, at one point in the future, to become like the leading provider of supplementary education across the whole country. And then, I know it's a big ambition, but I think we can do it, is to be able to provide support and help for kids across the country. So that's ultimately the big vision or the mission for Aim High. And at the moment, we are at a very early stage. We are trying to grow the numbers, and with the online platform, that's the best way we can scale it. With the face-to-face, we will have those as like our flagship centers, but we want to grow it like all the way as much as we can to provide help to kids across the country. And one of the things that we definitely need to do is have a standardized curriculum, and this is where the main objective of today's meeting is going to be about. So let me see how we're getting on with time, just so I've got, yeah. So what I'll do is, before I wanted to get into that, I wanted to also share a little, get some input from you guys about what's going well, generally in lessons. So it's going to be about you guys telling me what you think is going well, and then you can jot it down, and then we'll take it from there. So this can be about online lessons, face-to-face lessons, generally what you think is working in your class. It doesn't need to be about the curriculum. It can just be about the general structure, or how you find aim high, like the admin side, or the kids, are they nice kids, the online platform that we use, the building that we've got. So, you know, just what's going well at the moment. So I'm not going to pick on you. You could just fire away whenever you think something is good or not. I'll try and jot it down on here. Anyone, just, you can go for it whenever you're ready.
Okay, so I would say for my Saturday class, so it's my year ones and year twos, my structure of the lesson. So they really like the way I've structured my lesson. So I do, this is for my maths, not my English. No, I mean my English, not my maths. So for my English lesson, so you can't really do an hour full of content with year ones and year twos. They're not going to pay attention. So I do about 10 minutes spelling test, 20-minute content. So we're doing, right now we're doing stats practice, but before we were doing some grammar and letter writing for my year ones and year twos. So we do about 20 minutes content, and then 15 minutes phonics, which they really enjoy. And then the last 10 minutes, a quick comprehension, and then end it with a game. So there's a lot in there, but it does engage them. Like, they do want to do the next thing, and they know like what's next. So they're like, oh, now it's comprehension, now it's learning time. They know what it is now, and I've seen they've really liked it, instead of all being just an hour of content, because they do just tire out.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important point, chunking the lessons.
Yeah,
you know, that's good the way you manage to chunk it, because yeah, kids, they disengage. Like, I teach year 11s, 16-year-olds, and they can't even last more than 5 minutes in terms of concentration. So you do need to break it down. And then I like how you give them that hope. Okay, we're going to do this next. We're going to do this next. And so then they know, oh, this is yet to come. So let's do my best in these 10 minutes of spellings. Then we'll do that. But then if they don't like comprehension, for example, they know, okay, I'm going to try my best for 20 minutes. I know there's an end to that. Then we'll do phonics. And then, so that's really good, actually. I think definitely something that we need to consider, that in all lessons, having it chunked in that way.
Yeah, have a fixed structure, because it really does work.
Yeah, have a fixed structure. I think that's something we're definitely going to discuss today. Fixed structure. Perfect. So thanks for that. And do you manage to, does that like all your English lessons in that similar format?
Yeah, I do similar with like my maths as well, but with maths is sometimes it is different, because so for an example, last week on Saturday we were doing number lines in year 1 and year 2, because I've started stats practice, and they were just like disengaging around 1/2 So like, okay, we'll do a quick hit the button, and they only needed that 1 minute, that one round, and then they re-engaged again.
Yeah.
So just brain breaks. Yeah, brain breaks, just putting them in.
Yeah, it's like I was saying, so especially for the younger ones, you need to have little brain breaks. So even if it is that quick 1 minute, it's just to get them
back into it,
so you can see they're dozing off. And I do that with the Key Stage 2 as well. So at the start of the lesson with maths or English, you'll have your spelling test or your times table test, and they know that's the structure when we start in. So when they come in, they'll play hit the button, so they've got that revision time, but they don't see it as revision time, they just think it's a game, but they're competing against themselves or with each other. Then they do the mini test, and then I give them a maths or an English riddle, which a lot of the children have really enjoyed, especially like Key Stage 2 children and even the year 7s. So they like that, the little break, so they get excited, they're not thinking in a lesson, and then when they actually learn the content, they're quite fine with it, because they're quite wide awake, especially when I have the later classes. So sometimes my classes are finished around 8:30, and you can see they're dozing off, so just having that wake up call, it wakes them up. And then at the end again, so if we finish a little early, we'll do another brain break, or even just ending it nicely with like 2 minutes, just asking like how the week has been. It's just nice, so they can see that you're not just a teacher there, you do actually listen to them. So when Spider-Man came out, they were all really excited, but they were really annoyed that I watched it before it like actually came out. I was like, guys, I don't have a bedtime, so I can go and watch it. So it just kept them engaged at the end. So they're just like, oh, if I finish this now, I can actually speak to Miss about it, and she doesn't have a class at the end. So yeah, it's just interact with the children a lot more, even with the like year 7s and year 6s, they want that interaction.
Yeah, okay, that's really good. I think one of the key things that you mentioned there as well is the developing rapport, like having that relationship with kids, because they don't want to see you as just a teacher. They want to see you as somebody that's relatable. So yeah, talking about not for the full lesson. I know.
Yeah, like at the end.
I told one teacher to do it, and then I think he did it for about 25 minutes. Kids loved it, but the parents didn't. Yeah, so getting to know that, getting them to feel a bit excited or happy, and giving them like little shout outs. That's really good. I think I mentioned doing that. They love it. How good does it feel when someone gives you a shout out, or when someone says, oh, that was amazing, and you do it. They do it in public. Some people don't like it, but kids absolutely love it, and that's how you win them. And that's how you'll get them eating from the palm of your hand, where they'll do all the work for you, and you won't have to. You won't have to kind of put as much effort into forcing them. So yeah, I think that's good. But rapport is key. Developing a good rapport so the kids like you, and but being firm as well, not being like friendly. Because I've been into some of your lessons, and I know like it's you're firm, fair, and then it's nice like some of the debating ones that you were doing. That's really good, and you go into the character, like as a judge, right? Today we are going to I don't know, you can
so like when I came in, it was quite funny. So they just started breakout rooms, and they were at the start of the year 7 class, so they were all really new. It was my first time teaching year 7, so I was just like, oh, I don't know about this. So I just thought, okay, let's do comprehension first, because get the boring stuff out of the way, and it's kind of like gone off the list. No one likes reading, but they actually generally like reading a lot more. If you just introduce about reading with pleasure, they don't see it as something that they just have to read. So I just found something that they all enjoyed, and found something they can read, and then they did the task on that. And then debating is a really good thing. So I would definitely recommend introducing debating with Key Stage 2, even with year 3 and year 4. It gets them actually interacting with the students, so they're not just feeling like, oh, I'm so new. And I went into some of the breakout rooms as well, so they were actually discussing, so they weren't off topic. So sometimes you might think, oh, is it a bit risky? Will they just talk, or will they not talk? They do actually engage. So if you find things that they enjoy, I just found something about some sea life thing with the younger ones, and they enjoyed that. The older students, we went on a debating system, and then they had quite key topics, and they got to pick something, so they've got the choice. And then we did spin the wheel, so it's randomized, so you're not having to pick. So they know that I'm not just picking my favorite students. If you have any favorite students, like, oh, they're not getting the best part, it's like it's there in front of them, so they don't have a choice but to be that. So yeah, it's quite good. And debating actually really helped them like open up, and now they just love coming in.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, that's the sort of things that we could incorporate. Spin the wheel's good as well, because you're not randomly choosing them. You're not choosing particular kids. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's good. Has anyone got anything else, guys? Or what else? Something else that's going well? Because I know there's loads. Every time I've either popped in or heard or even read through the feedback, there's loads of good things that you guys are doing.
What I do is I go through homework at the start of the session, when they come back. So then they've got like one-to-one feedback and that we've been through it. So any misconceptions they've had, you can sort of clear them at the start of the lesson so that they're ready to move on.
Yes, yeah, that's good. Yeah, so with that, I think a lot of parents, they do see that, sometimes some teachers will give them homework, but they will never make reference to it again. Yeah. And then you think, what's the point? Are we just giving them a piece of homework for the sake of it? So that's really good. I'm glad you mentioned that, Hannah. Going through the homework, and if you do it at the start as well, at least it's out of the way. Not to go through the whole lesson, but you can just pick out 1 or 2 questions and clear those misconceptions. And then at least they know, this is what I've done wrong. Because what you don't want to do is give them something, teach them something, they go and do the homework, but they do it completely wrong. So what's happening is they're reinforcing what they got wrong, in the homework. So they're getting better at getting it wrong, if you know what I mean, unless we've picked it up.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
That's a really good point. And thanks. Anything else, guys?
So I'm just going to add on the debating. The debating, I did it a few years ago, and I feel like after that lesson, the kids, it was a really good lesson. After that lesson, the kids, they were speaking with each other more. So maybe, if not debating, but some sort of activity, like an icebreaker where I think it's because I put them in breakout rooms and I wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I told them that to get to know each other first and to speak to each other. And I've seen from that lesson, they were interacting with each other more throughout lesson. Even if the topic was different, they were helping each other out. And this is with online classes, like it's difficult to kind of speak to each other and know who's in the class.
Yeah.
So that was really good. What I do, or what I've learned, you told me once, was competition. Like, yeah, I remember you saying that boys love competition. So that's when I started like a rewards chart. But now online, I do. I use the quizzes app. I use that a lot. Every lesson, I create a quiz, or I try to find one that's already made about the lesson that I'm teaching, and I do one at the beginning of the lesson, which is a general one, and I do the same one each lesson, so they kind of know the answer. And hopefully, like with English, some students, they still don't understand what's a noun, what's a verb, and they can't say the meaning. So what I've done is I do a general one for English, where each lesson they do it, and hopefully, because they tell me, what I've noticed is they use some, I don't know what it is, but for times table, they use a website in school. Yeah. So I remember one of the students saying that, I remember the answer for this because I've done it so many times on TT Rockstar. So I kind of kept that in mind with the quizzes, and keeping that quiz the same. So I always start English with a very short quiz, and it's general, like, what does noun mean? What's a verb? What's an adjective? So hopefully from that quiz, they could just remember the meanings of them, and not like make a mistake there. And it has been working. They've been improving. That's so now I've been doing from the September. Now they are scoring 90%, 100%.
Yeah.
So hopefully, like, it is working. So yeah, that's
really good, Naima. I think that first of all, the icebreaker thing, that's important as well, because sometimes like how awkward is it when, if I imagine you didn't know each other and we had a meeting and then I just said, okay guys, talk to each other or introduce each other. No one's going to do it. It's going to be, well, you would because you're adults, but you'll feel awkward, don't you? It's the same with kids. So yeah, I think that's definitely needed. And yeah, that repeating tasks, that's good as well. It does reinforce retention. And that's one of the reasons why I'm going to come to that later. By, our check-in tests, I think we should make it exactly the same as the checkout tests. Yes, they probably will memorize stuff, but that way at least you can measure it, but then you can also see their retention as well. Like if they're getting things wrong that you've been teaching them, they've not really learned it, have they? So yeah, having lots of like repeat tasks, doing things again, like with the starters in maths, the starters, we tell everyone to do exactly the same topics, but just change the numbers a little bit. And I'll give you examples of that later on that you guys could use in your classes if you wish. But yeah, so that's really good. And quizzes, that's good. There's another resource, Shazay from I keep forgetting Abu Dhabi. He suggested it. It's called Blueket, and these have got loads of resources. And again, kids love it because it gamifies things. When it becomes like a game, they don't even realize it's work, but they're doing like 100 questions. But that's the key, is to trick them into doing work. That's what it is. Okay, thanks for that, Naima. Anybody else? Let's have a couple more and then we'll
just touching upon what Naima said about repeating tasks. So what I do, I revisit everything So let's just say, so I was telling Arif that we just finished fractions, but with fractions, there's quite a lot to go over. So you'll be times and you're adding. So every time, once we get into the lesson, I'm like, okay, before we get started, can someone tell me what we did last lesson? So most of the children just be thinking, oh, we've done that. I don't need to think about it again. So if you just ask them at the start, and like the ones that usually wouldn't speak, so just ask them would they like to answer. If not, so don't pinpoint it on them, because I've noticed sometimes they just feel like you're kind of targeting them, but you know they're the quieter students. So just give them that opportunity. If they do want to share, they can speak out, or even if they just type in the chat box, but just ask them what they actually remembered from last lesson. And if anyone can tell me how to, let's say if it's like English or maths, you ask maths, or what's the method? English, okay. What's the definition of, like how Naima said, a noun? You could just ask them like that. So if you don't use a quiz, do it in that way, so you can still see that they have actually, retained that information from last lesson.
Yeah. So that's really good. With the face-to-face classes, you can also do that with like mini whiteboards. Yeah. So a lot of the times you ask them, do you get it? The first answer they're going to say is, yeah, I get it. It's like even when you're talking to adults, myself as well, when someone explains something complicated and you say, do you get it? I'll just say, yeah, I get it. Because you don't want to come across as not getting it. And also, if you say, then the teacher's off your case, and then you're okay. So one of the best ways is, in Zoom, you can use a chat function. It's so easy, chat function. And the way I've learned how to do it is, I'll tell them a question, say, what's the square root of 36? I'll tell them, and I'll say, write your answer, but do not press enter yet. Yeah. Get them all to have like think time, write time, and then count it down. Okay, guys, are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everyone press enter together. And they love it. They want to press it. And you get all the answers one by one. So that's quite a good thing to do as well. So yeah.
With the chat box, so with the shy students, I kind of I repeat so many times that if you don't want to speak out loud, the chat box, I put my chat box private so they can only message me. Okay. Oh, that's good. No one sees their message. So that's why I always I emphasize on that. Like no one's going to see a message but me. If you're struggling with any questions and you don't want anyone to know, just put it down in the chat box and I'll answer it without anyone knowing who you are. Mm-hmm. And there have been questions in the chat box, like people who are confident but they don't want to ask the question out loud, maybe because they might think it's a silly question. Yeah. Or they might just feel less confident to ask in class. So they have been asking on the chat box, and I do answer it anonymously, and it does help. Yeah, no, definitely. I think that is a simple but great tool to have. Okay, guys, we'll maybe take one more if anybody wants to chip in with anything that's going well. If not, we can move on, but go for it. Yep, who is that? I think, is that Mariam?
I think the music's quite loud in the background here.
Go for it. We need some music here.
So I'd say, because obviously I've had a range of students, and classes are probably one or two students within a class. So I'd say something about my yesterday's session. So I had a young child. So I started off with, for English, I think it's finding the words within a big word. So I had kaleidoscope on the board. So I was like, okay, you've got about 5-10 minutes. In that time, I was marking the homework, and then they did that challenge and then carried on with that. And then talked over what the homework was briefly, and then moved on to the lesson. So with English, I just carried on with grammar focus. So the aim of that session was preposition. But I had to think, what else would they need to know to answer, be able to make a sentence with preposition in it. So understanding what a noun is, if there's a verb, could we put an adverb in there as a challenge? So using the context of a and an, so when would that be appropriate? So we looked at everything and then gave that as homework at the end of the session as well. So because it was just me and the student, we had a reward system on the board as well. So we in our classroom, we've got a little basketball on the window, so we can, the way. So he set me a challenge saying, if you help me if I feel like you're helping me, he'll give me a point. And so the points I made for him was, if I see that you're being resilient, you're being ambitious with your work, you're striving, then I gave them examples of what each one is, and they said, you know, because obviously I've worked in school before, so we use it as STAR, so striving, teamwork is another one, but obviously there wasn't much of a team there. A is ambitious and R is resilience. So once they do that, 3 points, and then we stop the session for a minute and then do some hoops and then come back to the lesson again. So that was a year 3 student, so we broke the session down. And then prepositions as well, because it got a bit boring just writing down sentences. So we'd draw pictures. So where would it be on the desk? Where would it be on, you know, where would the cat be, in so many different ways? And then doing it in the classroom as well, moving around, putting things, objects around in the room. So just making it really fun as much as possible. And then, so he was being the teacher as well, and I was. So he told me what I needed to know, where I went wrong, fixing my mistakes. So I think it worked well, obviously, because I had only one student there, so I could do as much.
Yeah, that the kids love that sort of stuff. Switching roles there when they can tell you what you've done wrong, or sometimes as simple as let them mark their work, or, you know, giving them that teaching. They absolutely love it. And what I do like it is this starting that you mentioned, because sometimes we just teach the academic skills, but it's those skills that are more important. What does the S and the T stand for? Do you remember?
Yeah, S is for striving.
Striving, yeah, that's the one. Strive.
T is for teamwork. And
teamwork, yeah. So, you know, we can even have things like that we use within our lessons, because that teaches them bigger skills. Because if they can do that, if they're resilient, then the times tables are going to be great, because they're going to fail, but they're going to try again. If they're ambitious, they're going to want to aim for the really hard questions. So I think that's quite something that we maybe could look into exploring.
Yeah, like something that's across the board for all of Aim High.
Yeah. Because we need. I think that will definitely be something that's going to be useful. Yeah, thanks for that, share. That's great, share. So guys, what we will do is we have spent a bit of time on this, but I think it's going well. The way I'm going to structure it is, we're going to practice what we preach. We're going to just do a couple more, and then we'll have a quick break. Yeah, if that's okay with you. Like, you guys can have a drink or whatever. I'll buy you all Starbucks. I'll send you an email in a second to get it for you. But then you'll have to make it at home though. But then when you're out next time, you can buy it. I'll send a gift box in a minute. So what we'll do is this. We'll just quickly go over like these things, and then the next part, after our couple-minute break, we'll have we'll go through this main bit of the meeting today. Is that okay? Is everyone okay with time, by the way? Okay, so really quickly, I don't know if you've seen this, but what other students are saying about us as well. Let me just quickly just get something up. So have you all managed to look? I know not everybody's had feedback, because like Mariam, we've not, because you've got a small group. Henna, we've not given the students feedback for you guys.
Oh, I spoke to my kids yesterday, and I just got feedback, and I just wrote it down on a sheet.
Right. Okay. Perfect. So yeah. So you've done that already. Yeah, that's good. So yeah. So the feedback. Do you all know where it's stored, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've all had a look through that?
Briefly. Not like had time to break down through it all.
Okay. Yeah. So that's all it is. So if you ever look, some of it is really good, really positive. So the main ones are the online ones that are on the system. So let's just pick. Anyone want me to pick them? If they do online lessons?
Pick mine, Ira, if it's easier. Don't think anyone wants to point the name out.
All right, okay. So it's just here. We asked you guys to send all students like a feedback form. Now, the kids are honest. That's the good thing about kids. They'll tell you what they like, what they don't like. The younger kids, probably they struggle to express themselves. But let's just pick. And I've been looking through them, and everyone's had so much good feedback. And that's why, from the primary teacher, I thought I'm going to get you guys all together so we can now share all this as well. So let me quickly check. So these were some of the questions. I'm finding maths helpful. I'm not finding it helpful. So these they made their own answers up here. But what the key things I was looking at is mainly, what the teachers, what you enjoy about the classes. So they'll write down what they enjoy. Again, you can read through it, and you know what? I'm sure people won't mind, but you can read through each other's too, because there's good in everyone's, and if there's any improvements, you can learn from theirs as well. So I just told them to, and the stars, they don't worry about that, because I never give 5 stars to anyone anyway, so it's usually in the middle. Just play it safe. So don't worry about that. But still, they some really good responses. So let's have a look. These were the last questions were just some questions like, how do you find your teacher? Like, what do you like about them, or rate them basically? So let's have a look. I think my teacher is so helpful and caring to all children and helps them really well. And I think I have one of the best teachers. There you go. That's a compliment. And the work we do, she really explains so we can understand. So I like how Miss Rahman teaches, because it explains very well. So, if you just look through some of them, they're generally really positive, and they'll tell you what they like. She does riddles and timetables, because kids don't like copying questions and writing it down. So you could, like, obviously you're not going to respond to everything, but there's lots of things that you could like take back from there. Let's have a look. Anyone want me to pick them? That's it. So Naima, I think you said yeah. So let's have a look. Again, let's see. So, and so it's good to even look at, let's see if we can find some like things that they think you can improve on, because I think some of it is. Some of yours we didn't manage to send across for some reason. So I like maths. So this person saying that the majority is enjoying it. What I like we have short stuff and it's easy homework. So like breaking it down. I enjoy how we get to learn new stuff and stuff that we do the same at school. So that's good. It reinforces what they've learned. So I don't like when questions are hard and complicated. Neither do I, but that's how it is. You don't want them to find everything easy. Let's see what else. Please suggestions. So let's look at suggestions that I can put my hand up more. I should improve my writing. So I think with the younger kids, they get the wrong idea. They think what they can improve on. But we were asking them about the lesson. But yeah, but apart from that, loads of 5 stars there. And let's see. I like we did the times table quizzes. I hate. Is it the same? Yeah. Is this a younger class?
Yeah, this is one of my online classes.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah. So they just be honest and tell you everything. So it's really good. I like the teachers because she helps me in math all the time. She never gives me hard work. It teaches me new things and I can get ahead too. So the fact that they're feeling comfortable, with the teacher, so that's good. So yeah, if you guys just literally look through all the reviews, you'll find that there's so many good things. So this is what the kids are actually saying about you. What I'm going to try and do is I'm trying to get on WhatsApp. Okay, ignore my random, so many different. There we go. How do I hide all this? Okay. Yeah, so I have a group that I actually text myself because I struggle to make friends. So this is one. Can you see? Can you? Hang on. Let me just. Oops. How do I view this? So this is something that I liked as well. Naima, I just popped into your room. This rewards thing that you've made.
Yeah.
So that's good as well. So you made a little rewards chart, and then just quickly talk us through what you do here.
Okay, so I have a points chart. That points chart. So I was struggling. I don't want to give out points prizes every lesson. So what I've said is at the end of each month, is like the prize day. So I have a little countdown that says like 2 more lessons, and they always come in and they look at that first.
Okay.
So, and then I give out points, homework, how they're doing in lesson. Some classes I forget to, like, you can tell that some people have more than others. Is if the kids, they're really into the points, they remind me. And but I feel like with other classes I should be more consistent with that. The times table is basically there's a website, I think it's called timestable.co.uk, and you can print out like 40 questions. So I do that and I give them the sheet, and on I do this at the beginning of lesson. Sorry, I just had like a brain freeze. So I do at the beginning of lesson. I give them the sheet and I put my timer on, and they do it as fast as they can.
Okay.
So they're doing it, and as soon as they're done, they say done, and I write down their time. So as you can see, if you zoom in, you could tell like the different times, and every week they're improving. So
Okay.
last lesson we just spent the lesson like reflecting on that table, just like 2 or 3 minutes after they did last week's last lesson's times table quiz, and I was showing them the time they got at the beginning of when we started this and the time they're getting now. And some people, like one of the students, she used to do it in 4 minutes. Like she's a very good student, but she took her time doing it. But now, alhamdulillah, she's doing it in 2 minutes. And when I told her that, and her, like, we saw the difference, you could see like she was really happy. So I was telling them it's not about getting the fastest in the class. It's about beating your own time, beating your own time. So they're in competition with themselves, and that's what I rewards them when they improve rather than getting the best in the class.
Yeah, that's really good.
They really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and it's a whole competition, but also I love the fact that the progress, so they can see their progress, where they were at and now where they're at. Because a lot of the times kids don't see these small gains. We call them small wins. We just think, oh, if you're not moved to top set, if you've not got this grade, you're not good. But you have to track their journey. Where were they before and where are they now? We used to have students called Aman and Sahil, really like they were one was Asperger's and one was autistic. So one was like bright, one was not as bright, but their handwriting was really poor. And Zaida was working with them with maths. And one of the things she would always do is check the handwriting. So she would keep all their handwriting from the day they started to now, and you can actually see the progress. And sometimes parents don't see that. Oh, my child is not to the top. Why is my child not at the top of the set? But it's the small little wins that they have, the small gains in their speed, the small gains in their confidence. Those are the things that we should also keep a track of and celebrate with them. So at the start of the lesson, give them shout outs. And that's when you realize, hang on, like this is where I am now. Even when we started with Aim High initially, I had like 1 or 2 students, and then I still think, oh, we're nowhere near where we need to get to. Want to help at least 1,000 students, we're nowhere near that. But if I step back and I think, look, where are we now compared to where we were just last year? Then you take a step back and think, wait, hang on, we are making improvements. So that's kids need that. So yeah, that's a really good rewards chart and also like a measuring kind of progress thing. Cool. No worries. So yeah, so that's what I kind of wanted to do. And I was gonna share like little pictures of these, lots of people have been, the kids in the face-to-face branches, they've been writing little comments as well. But you've got all those. I'm not gonna quickly go over them, but generally we've been doing really well with Mr. Small and so on. But yeah, what we'll do then is, if we have like literally how long do you need a break, a short break? How?
Just a quick 5-minute break's fine. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. We'll just say 3-minute break. You could just we'll say 3 minutes, go to the bathroom, grab a coffee or whatever, and then we'll come back and then we'll do the last bit. That'll be the main bit, guys. Okay. So far, how was it? I know it's been a lot of kind of me talking, but how are you guys finding it useful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really useful.
Cool. No worries. So we'll come back in a couple of minutes and then we'll take it from there. I'll pause everything. Feel free to put your cameras off. Okay, let's see. We all in? Perfect. Let's see. Quickly check everyone's here. We'll make a start. Okay, yeah, guys, we'll make a start. So let me pop it back on record and then, oops, Vajana's coming in as well. Oh, oops. Hello, Vajana, again. There we go. So yeah, what we'll do then, guys, first of all, I don't know, I sent a little gift to you guys. Did you get it?
Oh, thanks for that, Ari.
No worries, enjoy. If it was, I was hoping that we could all meet together somewhere and I would have bought your coffee, but that's the best thing they can do. So enjoy your Starbucks. And I don't know, Mariam, if you're already there, you might be enjoying it like physically. So look at you. Right, cool. So what we'll do, guys, is this next bit, this is the main bit really that I want to discuss. And this is where we're going to need like to get it sorted today. So will take as long as it takes, but I'm going to try not to take too much of your time. I want to get it done before 12 if you can, but if you do need to go, just let me know. So the main thing is this one. So this one here, the consistency across aim high in the primary. So all year 1, year 6, from the check-in to check-out test to the curriculum, what we teach, and what order we teach things, so that everything matches up across the board. So, but before we do that, just a reminder, I know most of you know the kind of aim high methodology. Whenever a parent signs their kids up, whether they're from locally or from wherever, they have to watch 35 minutes of a video. So that video, I'm sure you might have come across it before. It's that 35-minute training video of where we kind of sell aim high to them, but indirectly we talk about what we do, why we're better, and why our method works. Now, our methodology that we say is, we call it the DTTR method, or just what it stands for is diagnosis, therapy, testing, and the last one is review and revisit. Now that underpins everything we do at aim high, and we tell parents that we incorporate it in within lessons. So within every lesson, it goes through these stages, but also holistically from a like a termly point of view or a monthly point of view, we also follow this. What that means is the first step, the diagnosis, just like when you go to the doctors, the diagnosis is what is the problem? Like if you don't know what the problem is, so if I use my daughter's example, most of you know she was unwell. So for the first week of her being very unwell, they didn't have a diagnosis. They didn't know what was wrong. So they were trying different things. They were x-raying, they were giving her painkillers of this, that, the other, but nothing was working because they hadn't diagnosed what the problem was. So in the same way, when kids come to us, the first step, every lesson, whether a child has jumped in halfway through the term or at the start or towards the end of the term, you should always have a system where you diagnose where the gaps in the knowledge lie. So find out, it might just be a quick test. It might just be like a quick questionnaire, here, go answer these. That gives you a starting point, so you know where the child is at. And even within the lesson, if you're teaching fractions, your first lesson could be a quick mini test, a diagnosis, or it could be like a quick test to ask them, here's 4 questions, what are the answers? Don't worry if you get them wrong, because that's what we're going to learn. That's your diagnosis. Then you know, okay, these are the problems. It might be that you give them a fraction question and you realize they can't even times. So if they can't times, then they can't do fractions. So step 1, diagnosis. And you can write these down, guys, so you remember it and instill it into the lessons and tell the parents, tell the students what you're doing. The next bit is the therapy. So just like I'm using Amana's case here, after we were diagnosed, after that 1 week, we had a plan that they gave her the treatment or the therapy. So they gave her the various things within her blood to get her to start getting better. She wasn't better straight away, but they knew what the problem was and they were giving her the medication. In your case, the therapy is how you deliver the lessons, what you do, what you teach. If it's the confidence you're improving, the debating, or the times tables, the lessons, you're teaching them the lessons. And it's not just lessons. The therapy can be different ways, just like a therapy or a treatment isn't just medication. Sometimes it's physio. Sometimes it's like talking, or sometimes it's whatever the therapy is different. So in your case, it might be one of the therapy could be, here's 10 questions, practice these. Here's a research task we're going to do. Here's a comprehension we're going to do. Here's a quiz we're going to do. So that could be the therapy to helping them get better at what it is that they're doing. And the third thing is, well, after you've given some sort of treatment, you have to test it again. Has it worked? Is the diagnosis, has the problem gone away? Is it still there? Do we need anything else? So the testing is the third step. Normally we do it through a checkout test, but saying that, the checkout test is more of a long-term thing. Within a lesson, have you checked at the end of the lesson, can they now do this? You know, it might be a quick mini whiteboard task. It might be a quick write your answer in the chat, or it might be a quick quiz. It might be a quick game, or whatever it is, testing to see that they can do it. And then the last one is your revisit and review phase. There's no point on learning something if 2 weeks down the line you've forgotten it. So it's just going back to it regularly and revisiting those. But beyond that, it's also to make sure that you can answer the harder type of questions. So if you've been doing fractions, can you answer worded problems involving fractions? Can you do like exam style questions? So that's the review and revisit stage. So those 4 steps, guys, that's what underpins Aim High. And if you get these right, you're following the Aim High methodology, and we're getting there. And it's what we're telling the parents. So, you know, we're doing everything right. So then we've got something to go back on. Does that all make sense, guys? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, thanks. And this one, again, you all do it. With the Aim High learning process is we call it like the Aim High pyramid. It's like a 3 steps, whether you do it online, face-to-face, or whatever it is. Now, we know that we don't do one-to-one lessons because I personally think it doesn't always work, because it doesn't always work. And also because we have a group, so some of us have quite big groups, and the groups can be up to 12. And one of the things parents say, is I want one-to-one tuition. And what we tell them at the start is, look, one-to-one doesn't always work, because this is how we do it, and this is why it works with us. I'm going to show you now. The strategy, well, that means what you teach, how you teach, when you teach, and what order you teach them. That's fine. Now, strategy is fine, but on its own, it doesn't work. Let me tell you this. Whenever you say you want to do some exercise, or you want to lose weight, or you want to go on a diet, or you want to learn to play the piano, why is it that people are still struggling to do all those things? Because we've got access to all the strategies. We've got YouTube, we've got books, like revision guides and everything. But on its own, these things don't work. We know that. So that's why we tell parents the next step in our triangle or pyramid is the mindset or the habits. Creating good mindsets and habits is key. You know how you guys have like certain habits. They're going to come in, they're going to do this every week. They're going to do this every week, and they develop a habit. So after a few weeks, it becomes normal to them. Just like they just go and do it. Like when you brush your teeth, you wake up in the morning, you hate it, but you do it on autopilot. But that's bringing a benefit because it's helping you clean teeth. So that's why those are important. And that's why you should be incorporating these into your lessons. And the third one is the environment. And this is going to be key, because we have a group of students, is how we use all these students within the environment to help each other push them up, along the way. So for example, I think I've used this example before. Imagine you are climbing up Mount Everest. Would you rather be a one-man team and go up it yourself, like having never been up there, or would you rather be with a tribe, with a team, and the leader, i.e. the leader is you, and go up together, knowing that everybody in that group has the same goal to reach the top of the mountain, and they will push each other along the way. So when one's down, they'll push each other up. So most people would say, I would rather go with the team, with the group. And that's why we tell parents, look, the group teaching is a lot better, because you've got that winning environment. Now, so then hopefully they're sold, okay, yeah, we want that. And then when they come to us as teachers, we need to create all these 3 things. The strategy you're doing automatically, the mindset and habits you instill in them. You tell them this, you do that in your lessons, but even at home, encourage them to maybe read Like that could be like you can give them competition incentive. If they read, they get these points and so on. And the last one, within your group, create that environment. So, they're helping each other, they're trusting each other, not doing like lots of like fun activities. It's good to do fun activities, but not doing it just for the sake of it and losing control of the class, doing it so that it's all helping you to help them. Does that make sense? Okay, I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah,
Cool.
sorry, we're all on mute. We're just like nodding.
All right, okay, no worries. Okay, that's fine, no worries. So let me put it on the gallery view, then I can see. Okay, perfect. So yeah, so that with that background in, we can get to the main bit. So the consistency across Aim High, why we need it is to ensure all students get exactly the same experience, irrespective of the teacher, or the class, online, face-to-face, everything is the same. So the parents are also aware of what the child is covering. And so if a parent asks us, okay, you've joined in December, what is my child covering this week? We know roughly this is what they're going to be covering. Might not be perfect, exactly that, but we know where they're at. This one is so that initially it will be a bit of hard work for us, but the main objective is to ensure that all the planning is simplified and the tutors can focus more on their energy on delivering an awesome experience for students. So you can focus really on that delivery and teaching them. And then the last one is to have a bulletproof methodology. I call it bulletproof because I want it to work regardless all the time. It should be something that always works. If we were to get somebody off the streets and say, oh, can you teach this, please? This is what these kids are going to learn. They should be, to an extent, be able to follow it and teach it and get the progress for that child. That's the kind of things that I'm hoping to achieve with the consistency. Okay. What I'm going to do is now I'm going to open it up in a minute to you guys, because this is what we need. We need to let me increase. What we need is like a list of key topics that we should definitely include in the curriculum for year one. So the way we're going to structure it is we're going to have year one and year two in one. So year one and year two is classed as one kind of key stage. I know it's not always the case. Year one's a lot weaker and so on. And then you've got the year three and year four. Because this is how I've noticed they do it in a lot of schools. And then you've got your year five and year six. It's just identifying what you think are the key topics, and we'll have a discussion amongst that with everyone, so we can just blast it out here. And then Anissa will also be working on it quite a lot because she's already done some of the background work on it. And then we'll take it from there. Anissa, am I okay to kind of get you? So what I'll do is, let me share my other screen. Just give me a moment. Okay. Let's go back. So that link I gave, we've all got that link, haven't we? The primary curriculum link.
Yeah.
Can you all see it on my screen, by the way?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is like our hangout zone. This is where we're gonna have everything. So the key things that you've got is mainly it's going to be within your folder. What we want to have is I want to bring up. Let me bring up Anissa, because you're going to be kind of leading on this a little bit. I'm just going to use yours for now. Where is your name? There you go, Anissa. So by the end of it, everyone will have one that's standardized across for everybody. So which one am I choosing, Anissa?
If you just go on to, I think I've done some on English. And if you just go on to year 5 and 6.
Okay, so
done like 2 weeks so far.
Yeah. So we sent this out a few weeks ago just to see how you guys are planning, but we will be building this so it's all consistent across the board. So what the format may change, but for now, what we need to do is definitely identify the key topics that we want to teach. So did you say 3 and 4?
I think you can do 3, 4, 5, and 6. I've got a few in other spaces. I can't remember.
Okay, so that's fine. So this was term 1. That's already gone. We're actually now in term 2. So the yellow one.
If you use that, I've literally just finished that.
Yeah, no worries. So, so for example, you got year one. So this was after, probably should put dates on it, but Christmas holiday, after the Christmas holidays in January, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7, and then would this be next week then?
So next week, so this week is the checkout test. Well,
Okay.
not a checkout test, it's like a mini consolidation test just to see where everyone's at with that end of the topic, and then we'll move on to whatever it would be. So right now, I'll be bringing in SATs practice. So everyone that's in year 5 and 6 will undergo SATs practice until May. So SAT starts around the 6th of May. So it'll be 2 months of SATs practice. And after that, we just continue with the rest of the plan. And that would go the same with year 1s and 2s. So you can start introducing SATs practice with them. So I know the year 1s won't be covering SATs, but they still have, you know, a bit of a prior knowledge now. So when they do start SATs in year 2, they'll be like, oh, I've already covered that. So I feel quite confident already. So they can see what I'm is. But yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So what we want to do is this, right? So we want to have like a standard topic. So this was for term 1. So let me go to term 2 was the yellow one, the spring term. So we've done week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So are you going to be this week? Are you going to be on week 7 for the mini test?
Week 7 is last week.
So week 7 was last week. This is a new week now.
Okay, so that's good. So we'll start from the new week.
Yeah.
So this is after the half-term holiday. So we'll say from next Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do it this way. From next Monday, what we want to do is we want to decide what topics, for example, for year 1s and year 2s. So we know that these are the topics that are going to be common and the most important topics that we need to focus on. So we have a check-in test, and then we will teach them those. That will take us up to Easter. And then from Easter, so May, June, from Easter onwards, we'll have another check-in test, a midterm test. So we'll have, okay, check-in test. I'm just quickly, and then the midterm test, where would you put it? Would you put it here?
Yeah, so either on that week 7 or just the beginning of June, July, because they'll be doing SATs. So
yeah,
I know a lot of the students' focus will just be, I just want to do my SATs, and they just want to kind of get that done with. So it'd be better towards the end. So either on week 7 or the beginning of the second term. Whichever you prefer with the class,
Okay, and the checkout test, we always do it on the second to last week of when we break up. So whenever the holidays are, the second to last week, that way you can give them a test, and then you can go over whatever it is that they've got wrong in the review and revisit phase. And then obviously within the check-in test, you may not do the check-in test for the full lesson. It might just be a quick short one to see where they're at. So you can maybe incorporate another topic in there or another lesson there. But here, these gaps here are what we need to fill up. And what we need is, like, even if you can sort out certain starters that we do, so that it's all consistent. If you could have like ideally a PowerPoint or some sort of resource that we could use that as a backup. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to use it all the time because it doesn't always work. Some kids are different, your class will be different. But if we have like a fixed PowerPoint, whether it's from Twinkle and we download it and we've got it there, and then we have the resources, like it could be a worksheet or it could be a link to the worksheet, and there's any homework there, and for those that need a bit of a challenge, like a resource to a challenge question. So that's if we can get something like that sorted, that would be good. But we're just identifying which topics we need to cover. So what do you think? How should we go about? How do you think we should go about this, guys? You tell me for a minute. Tell me what you think.
So what I'm doing right now with my year 1 and year 2s, because it is SATs, I have got Cheyenne, who is, can I say names because you're recording?
Yeah. That's okay.
Fine. So Cheyenne, obviously, he is in year 1, but mashallah, he's really clever. So we have moved him to my year 2 class. So he'll be fine with doing the SATs practice. So what I'm doing right now is for maths, a topic each week. So we've just finished number lines last week and I've sent homework out. and then we'll go over it. It's on my plan if you want to go on it. And then so next week, this Saturday, we're going to do column addition. The week after, column subtraction, just different topics so I've gone through some stats papers and I've written down some topics and I've planned around that. I've done my dates wrong on the planner.
That's fine.
Yeah, so there we go. Week one's completed and I've sent the homework. So now next week we're doing column addition. Then you can see it's all just kind of linking. I've tried to not just do random ones, I want it to all flow. And then so they're kind of having like mini checkouts with their homework for each topic because it is different. And then week 7, I'm going to do a checkout test with all of them topics that we've done into one kind of. So that's how I'm going to do it until you'll see I've planned it all till April, I think, or to May. I don't know with the dates, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, so you've got like a bit of a plan there.
So I read topics that I've gotten from SATs papers.
Okay, so you've just picked them up from SATs papers. That's good.
Yeah.
Then it's relevant.
It's completely wrong. I'll fix that up later.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll can work on that. So yeah, so that's what we need to do, guys. And then if we can agree, like say if you're teaching Key Stage 1, so year 1 and year 2 teachers, if we can agree that these would work, these are topics are going to work, and you're happy to them, then we can use something like we can use, for example, this one because it's already made, and try it out. Then all we need to do is add the PowerPoints or add the resources that you think are relevant, and we can take it from there. What do you think, guys? Because this is where I need your help on this. That's the thing. So what, do we have, so let's start with year 1 and 2. Are there any key topics that, let's just use this because we've got this, year 1 and 2 teachers or anyone who teaches those, are these topics relevant or not? So this started from term 1. So imagine this is from September onwards. Look at the path. So introducing money, identifying coins, adding and subtracting money. So have a look. Tell me if you think it's relevant or not relevant.
So I've been, I started off with money as well.
Okay.
So I've covered the money topic with my year 1 and year 2s.
Okay. So was that, did you do that in beginning, like first term in September, October? Okay, that's good. So yeah, so we're already kind of in the right path. And then after the first October half term, you went and did column addition, introduction to column.
Yeah, this I've just started from Feb. I've just done the dates wrong again. So
okay, that's why what we'll do is we'll reshuffle all this, and then because at least we've got something, if we can start off, we've got something already, we can start with that and work on it. Time is a good one. Time, and also coming back to these every so often. Okay. So tell me, guys, if you don't agree with it, or if you think you want to add something else to the list for year 1 and year 2, let us know.
Shapes is something that needs to be covered as well. I think what we all need to try and come down with is like maybe key areas. So I know like me and Eric are talking about we're just a tuition group, we're not actually school. So some of the children are only coming like once a week, so you can't teach everything that they would cover in school. So maybe like pinpoint things that we feel like we need to just cover, and then everything else that they will cover in school, but you can like touch upon briefly. So if you did have a student came in and said, "Oh, Miss, I struggle with this," you could implement it still into your lessons, but still stick to the plan that we have. So yeah.
Like I'm just looking at the shapes part of your plan, and I did cover shapes with them as well. And maybe because of the students, but I was able to cover, like, are these separate days? So on one of the days you're going to be naming shapes and drawing them. So I was able to do that, and the properties, like I was able to cover 2D shapes in one lesson, instead of like splitting it into 3 lessons.
So that's good. So what we could do in those cases, like say for example, Naima, your class, they just got it, they could name it, they can store it, they can do everything. In your other lesson, you could either go back to an old topic like something that they couldn't do before. And we call it a spaced lesson. Let me write that down. Have you heard of this before, guys? Spaced lessons?
Yeah.
Yeah, a spaced lesson is where you go back to a topic you've already taught, you know they need work on. So one thing is telling the time, one is fractions, and you do a random standalone lesson on that topic as a spaced lesson. And then it's just going back to that lesson, and then later on you can come back to that. So that could be one way of dealing with that, because I think every term we should have a spaced lesson, because what happens is if you taught angles in September, but they've not seen it at all again, they're going to forget it. So every term, I'd say put 1 or 2 spaced lessons in, random lessons that you could just put in, and then maybe in the plan you'll write down in brackets here, or spaced lesson. Like you could just put wherever, if you think it's a lesson that doesn't need another full hour, you can write or spaced lesson, and then you put your topic down of the spaced lesson. That will be different for everyone, because you will know your group and you will base it around that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I think, we should do that. So write this down, aim for like 2 spaced lessons at least within the term. So 1 each term, 1 every 6 weeks or however many weeks we've got. That would help. Okay, has anybody else, guys, just chip in too? So this is just like literally open discussion. I'm just using the abilities and we're going to run with it if it's good enough.
No, I like the structure so far.
Okay.
They are from the SATS papers that I've been working with.
Perfect. So I think, Nabila, they do look good here. So I think I'm
just going to change them, because obviously I've done SATs all the way to summer, so I'll change them around. I did look at, where it says summer term.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. And even within SATs, if you think there's a particular topic that you want to work on, like certain top questions from the SAT, you can even write those down. But I think that those topics at the start point, they cover a lot of things that they need. So that's good. And if you incorporate the spaced lessons, that will be good as well. Your starter tasks, I know everyone does it differently, but Anissa, what did you mention about times tables and spellings?
Yeah, so I say compulsory, get everyone to do the times tables and spellings, because it's something that you need to cover. So when the students come in, even simple basic words they don't know sometimes, so they might be able to sound it phonetically, but when it comes to writing it, they don't have that practice. So I've got all the statutory spellings and I've got all the timetable sheets, so that's all covered. And just make it into like a competition. So when we do the spellings, I have a little timer thing that goes off sometimes, or we do as like a spelling bee challenge, so they don't see it as they're doing a test. So with the times table, sometimes I'll do, because we don't have TT Roxas, I'll just hit the button and we'll keep track of their higher score. So how Naima's got in her class with the times, we've got it with their scores, so they can see how they're improving each week. And sometimes I'll throw a random test in where I'm testing them on all the times table. So if there's a student that struggles with certain ones, I can incorporate it with the lessons. But it's like 3 minutes at the start, like no more than that, but at least it's covered. So I feel like at the start, do your timetables test and your spelling test, so it's kind of done with.
Good, So non-negotiables are spellings and times tables. And what I think we should do is, so Anissa, you've got literally all the spellings that are compulsory. So what Anissa will do is she will send out the compulsory spellings.
Even if we just create a folder and I could just put them there, and then everyone can just like take it from there. So that Google Drive folder, we're going to make it super organized, so then you can take it from there. And so then everyone's doing the same. So if you've got a year 3 student, and they should be doing exactly the same spellings as a year 3 student in say Naima's class or Medjid's class, and so on. So I think that'll be helpful. Let me quickly go back. I think I've mentioned this as well. Where is it? There. It's this one here. These are like based on the national curriculum. This is which is compulsory for year 1 to year 6, which is quite hard. I personally think it's quite hard, but kids should know this. So in year 1, they should count in multiples of 2, 5, and 10. Recall doubles of numbers and so on. Year 2, they need to know those things. Year 3, they need to know the 3, 4s, and 8s. Now I've got kids in year 11 that are struggling with those.
So it's just, this is the sort of intensity we need to get them up to that. And by year 4, they need to know all their times tables.
Yeah.
So if you've got year 4s and they're still struggling, keep providing that support. Some of them will know their times tables easily, like they just memorized it. So with those, have like separate challenges. They could do like reverse times table, like with the divisions or harder ones, giving them the challenge.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing with Cheyenne, because you know Cheyenne, he's in year 1.
Yeah.
He knows all of his times tables.
Yeah.
Like he'll randomly he'll be doing his 15 times tables when it was just me and him 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Like, oh, can we do our 15s? Can we do our 30s? Because he knows all of them from 1s to 12. So now he'll do. So when because he is in my year 2 class. My year 2 class, they're still learning their times tables. So I'll give him division to do, and then they'll be doing their times tables.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely having that, because you will see kids come from like different towns and they're like geniuses compared to kids like down here maybe. And what else? If I put it, the spellings, So Nisa will give the spellings. So we also, how long do they spend on spellings then?
So I give weekly homework at spelling, so you'll have a set of spelling. So maybe for like the younger students, you can give them about 6 or 8 words, and the older students no more than 10. So you're going across those throughout the year. And also when they do the test, ask them which word they got wrong, not just to put them on the spot. They can message you privately, just so you know which word to cover again. So when you set homework, you might have to just send those same words out again, just so they cover it. Because one of my students, she's really great at everything, but her spellings was her weakest point, and her parent did say, like, can we target on that? And since giving those weekly spellings, they've got into that routine, so they do it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, that's right. And in terms of how do you know they're not cheating?
So this is how I make sure they're not cheating. So I have them at the start of the lesson, have the words on the board, and you can tell the ones that are cheating because they look. So I always get them to show me their page at the start, and they fold the book over, so I know where the spelling test is. And you just trust them off them. So if you give them that, or you're trusting them, they give you that trust back. Because once when one of them thought, he had his spellings on the whiteboard, which he did with his practice, and he thought he could just hang it near his iPad and I wouldn't see, but I saw it on the reflection of his glasses. So I let him do his test. And then I said, oh, today you've got them all right, which is super hard, the spellings. And he said, oh, miss, I did cheat. So if you give them that respect, they own up to it, so you don't have to. But you'll see with the scores, like, you can tell who can spell and who can't. So yeah.
With my year 3 class 2 weeks ago, so I gave them about 5 minutes to revise them, and then they didn't realize they were using the chat box and messaging each other, and they didn't know I could see. So that they're like, I just copied it down, I'm not going to do the test. So I just let them chat, see who's doing it, and I was like, guys, guess what? I know what you guys are doing. So then they're like, so they ripped out the page, and then they got a new one. I was like, put it in the bin. Like, some parents in the background just completely laughed at their child because they got caught. So
Okay, so it's things like that. I think you just have to be mindful, because kids they're clever. They're a lot cleverer than us sometimes. They'll try it on. And having a way to maybe record those scores as well.
Yeah. So what
I
do is so on that PowerPoint, so where I've got the spelling words, at the bottom of my notes is I keep track of everyone's scores. So every week on my PowerPoint, I can see what words we've done, and I kind of like tick it off the words that we have covered and the words that some of the students may. So it's quite personal to each child then. So you know which child knows their spellings, but you know the ones that aren't actually, they haven't got the hang of that yet. So it's just there. So it's just like literally spellings don't take you no more than like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then that's even with you just inputting the scores and the words that they need to cover. So that's a quick thing that you can do at the start of a lesson.
Okay. Perfect. No worries. That's fine. As long as we're keeping a record of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna hurry it up, guys, because I don't want to spend too much on it. So that's, I think year 1 is going to be sorted.
Yeah.
We just need to find good resources that we can use. And I'm going to reiterate, the resources are there as a guide. You can use your own, but at least it's there as well. You always fall back on that. I know, Hannah, you mentioned White Rose previously and in your message and so on. But I think for now, if we maybe keep it all consistent to Twinkle, and then we'll download those. I need to update the password because they've cottoned on that we're using one password. So I'll update that password again and let you know. But if you could just maybe download it. The way you download it is this. So for example, you, again, in the primary resources, so in the Google Drive, you guys can add your own folders here as well. So let's call this the resource folder. There's already one there made for you. So if you click on that, and then I made these like your brainy worksheets, but I've not got the worksheets there. You can just drag them into there. So for example, if we to say, call this one this is term 2, and you could put the dates on. So that's Jan to, what is it, April, I think. So then what we'll do is we could add resources, or you can maybe make one for PowerPoints. Let's just call, so let's say week 1. I don't know, we'll have to find a way of doing it. Week 1, and then within there you could upload it. Do you all know how to upload onto Google Drive?
Yeah.
So let's say I'm just going to pretend I'm uploading. I'll do a Google Slides. I'm going to make one here. So, oops. Okay, that's not work. So I'll just upload a folder, like for now. I'm just going to put anything in for now. So once that's in, so I just put this thing here. So in order to share that as a link, so all you'll do is, once it's all organized in a folder, all you do is you click on it. Bear with me. So I'm going to click on it, right click get link. And then here, you could just write down, it should say anyone in the link. For now, we'll make anyone the editor, just in case you want to change it. So editor, and then you click copy link. So you've copied it. And then you would go back. So here, and then you'll put, say for example, it was a PowerPoint. You'll just paste it in there. So then it's there. So when somebody wants to use it, they'll click on it and they'll have to download it, and then they can use it. And yeah, it should come up, whatever it is. So I've just put a random thing in there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you can use it, and then you'll download it onto your computer and then deliver it that way. But always double check. And then with the resources, if it's a worksheet, you could simply do this. Say, for example, there's quite a lot of worksheets. So you could go onto this folder and then resources. Again, you might need to come up with a better way of labeling this. Resources. And then you can put lots of different resources in there. And then instead of tagging putting a link of one thing, you can just click on that. And this will be all the week 1 resources, get link. And then people can choose, like, if there's like a higher, lower, middle ability class. So you can label it, like each worksheet could be high, low level, middle level. So within adding and subtraction, you might have like different sort of worksheets there. And then you can click on that and have a look through it and so on. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
So that's going to be quite a hard task, like not a hard task, like it's going to take a bit of time to, once you've got it there, then once you've organized your Google Drive, then you know it's all there. And I think if we do it, so for example, Nabila, if you're happy to do the year 1 and 2 ones, because that's your main classes, and Naima, you can kind of chip in and help her out as well, because you've got a few of the year 1s and 2s and anybody else. So all you would do is click on, the primary resources, math resources, and create it with a good title, and then everyone can access that, and then we link that in, and then with English as well, and then let's go to year 3 and year 4 really quickly, and then so year 3 and year 4. So did you say you've done something on this as well?
So I've got it on that major one, so I can break it down. So with maths, it's quite easy to cover. So I've literally broke everything that we can cover in each week for everyone, like that's if everyone is okay with it. So I know some classes might feel like they need to do something else, so we can like rejig it and stuff, but I've got everything, like the main topics down. The main one was English, so I just needed a bit of help on condensing it down because we have so much to teach in school. Like what's been in practice, I've seen everything that's been taught, but in tutoring it's quite hard to cover it all. But the main two I was definitely thinking, I was obviously SPAG and comprehension. We could all do, but there's like other things, so I just wanted everyone's input on what they think they feel like that worked really well with their classes, so then we could just put that in our whole curriculum plan as a whole then.
Okay, so what do you guys think, guys, for English? Like Anis said, it is a bit tricky, but we have to know that we can't cover everything. It's not realistic. We're just there once a week, like standalone topics that you think are the most important. What do you think? I don't know, Hannah, what would you say for like English key topics in year, let's say 3 and 4? Like, so this is what you've got down so far, Anisa, I think.
Yeah, I've got a few down now on my book, but I just want to hear everyone's input, so then we can, if there's like a majority of a topic that everyone feels like we should cover, then we can like knock something off and then put that in instead.
Yeah. So I don't know, Madge or Adnaima, who else teaches Mariam? Anna, what do you guys, are there any key topics that you think definitely year 3 and 4 should focus on?
I think with year 3 and 4, because in year 5 and 6 it becomes more important, but I think in year 3 and 4 it's important to get the foundation of them knowing the different types of writing. So I think a big one that they do all the time is like creative writing, but I think they do a lot of that at school anyway. So I think one thing that we could focus on is formal writing or articles, leaflets. So basically knowing the different types, or writing to argue. So getting that clear, I think different types of writing is a good point for year 3 and 4.
Okay, what do you think about that, guys?
Yeah, so I've got types of writing down. I just wanted, so I had like obviously non-fiction and fiction, and I had letters and the types of things, but I just wanted, so like how Mech has just said it really well. So yeah, so like letters, leaflets, getting to know what different styles of non-fiction text may look like, and maybe just picking one that they could create on their own. So you're not all creating a letter, you're not all creating a leaflet or a brochure, like you pick one or something.
Okay, that's good. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a good one. That
another one I definitely think we should keep is, so speaking and listening is debating. So that would work throughout year 3, year 4, year 5 and year 6. So 3 and 4 you can change the topic, but debating, I feel like that really worked well because it just opened them up as the students, especially when you get the newer children and they're quite scared to speak in general. So it gives them that chance to actually open up and talk, so they're not just shying away. And I just felt like it really worked. And since then, everyone actually communicates with each other, and like the learning's just got even better now in class. Well, online, anyways.
Okay. What do you think of that, Hannah? What's your thoughts? Or do you think there's anything else that we need to add or take away?
Oh, sorry, I didn't even realize I was on mute.
All right, okay.
What you've got down there is really good, I think. What I tend to do is I always tend to have like a book. Do you know what I sent you?
Yeah, I was reading
that
through
link.
that. It's really detailed, yeah.
It is really detailed, and that is what my old school that I worked at used to use. So what they used to do was they used to get a book. So it could be a picture book, it could be any book, any kind of story. And then they used to just sort of dissect the book. So you can only read like a couple of pages a day. And in that, they sort of go through like the whole, like one day focusing on predictions. And through that, like you can stop at a picture, pick out all the nouns, and then, work on expanded noun phrases. So I find that as a really good way to sort of get like the children focused. And then I don't know which one I sent you. I think, was it called Lost and Found?
Yeah, Lost and Found. I think, so it's good how you dissect it and then pick out all the different
and then they can then focus on like instructional writing, maybe how, or I think that was about a penguin. So they looked at, is it the Antarctic, and about the penguins, and then they could write stories about maybe how they went and found him, or there's just so much that you could do because you link it to a story.
Yeah, I think that's really good, and I think we've also we've been trying that as well. One of the main things where we fall upon is, when kids come in, like you've been quite lucky because you've just got like a small group and they've been the same. We've not added So with a lot of the teachers, they find that 1 week they've got like a brand new set of kids, or not set, but like 2 new students have come in.
Yeah.
Some kids that missed a lesson and they didn't read the last page. So then it makes it harder for the teacher. So one of the things that we're trying to do is get it so that it's all standalone. So if anyone jumps on like halfway through the term, they know exactly what where they're up to. That's what we're trying to focus on as well. So I think what you said is really good, and we
definitely.
And
Anissa, what I'll do is, I'll send you a link to my school website. So what they've basically got is they've got literally every year group and every subject and what you need to know by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then they've got the topics. So maybe if I send you the link to that, you can just pick out, or even we can all just discuss what would be best.
That'd be good.
Because they've got like prefixes, suffixes, and everything, because obviously they've worked on it for years, but they've got it up for parents. So I'll send you a link to that.
Thanks, Anna.
Yeah.
So it's like those, like how Henna was saying, like I was telling like the book thing would be a good thing, but like again, like because you have new students coming in, you may have students that have got English as not their first language. So when you have those students, especially trying to catch them up on the reading beforehand, it gets too hard for them. So
yeah, definitely.
With that, so you can still use how you put that in, but I said we could link that with comprehension. So it's only like an extract that they're reading. So each time they get to read a different extract, and they're not getting that bored thinking, oh, we're doing this book again because I've had that once. And it kind of puts you down because you think, oh, I've done all my planning, and you're like, oh, we're doing this book again.
Yeah.
So if you give them something just to keep them like small extracts. So I gave him what George's Marvelous Medicine, like just a little bit, and then it was a different book another time, so they can see different parts, and you're not reading the whole book. So anyone that comes in new, they're just reading that page or something, and then they can take information from that.
And then I guess like Twinkle and certain resources, and Henna's one that she mentioned, they will probably have like extracts that we can just pick out and use, can't we? Okay, that's good. Mariam, is there anything else that you think?
I was just going to share something that I've seen in school as well. Obviously, I've not worked too much on the English side on tutoring, but in school I've seen if it's a big group, you might come across vipers before. So they're looking at vocabulary and short extract. I would be inference skills. P would be punctuation. I'm not too sure, probably. So there's a few. They all stand for something. E would be explanation, or so each one has got a point. So I think could be maybe reading an extract and then working individually to maybe write a question for V, and then afterwards it's passed, you put it down all together, probably as a class, and then everyone has to answer those questions. So based on that extract, maybe that could be done as a standalone lesson, and just keep it interactive, so everyone's getting a chance to learn the skills of how do you make a question, what includes a question, to identify what a vocabulary is, or what inferences, what key skills are you looking for. So it might be it might be on line 2 as a, in brackets, just to help students. But again, it might be just an activity for them to learn what each question includes, and then for them to, challenge their peers. But again, I don't know how practical that would be, because it could take some time. Some students might not know how long what each ones include, but again, that would develop over time. Maybe it could be like towards the end of probably after 2-3 weeks, maybe that could be a challenge session or something, after they've understood how or what they're looking for in a text themselves.
That's good. I think
just an idea. I don't know.
It just, with those things, it helps them latch onto things, like, so they've got a structure that they're following. I think Michael in English, he uses something called We Are Stars. I have no idea what it is, but the kids absolutely love it, and it just helps them structure their writing. So we could have like a structure that we could.
The vipers I've seen at a school that I've done placement at, and they do that with the comprehension. So you could include the vipers with, say, if you do a term on comprehension, that would work really well then. So the end bit, they could do a whole comprehension task, however individually, but you've got those covered in, so that would work really well.
That's fine. So that's good. We could incorporate something like that in. And I think also the word comprehension, I keep forgetting that. that is important. So make sure every lesson has, like, not every, but we cover comprehension, Spark. Those are the key things, comprehension and Spark, because those are the things that a lot of kids struggle with. So yeah. Okay, so apart from that, does it look all right, guys? Has anyone got any more input to this? Are these okay to maybe trial out as well and see how they get on?
Yeah, so what I'm going to do with the whole letters situation, I'm going to condense down. So what Med said about, I'll put that as a type of text, and we can do it as non-fiction maybe. So it'll be a letter, a brochure. So it's not just sticking to letters, and then we can cover it that way instead. So they can see what a letter, an informal and formal letter can look like. Next lesson could be like a brochure. So I'll change that week up. So it's not just letters. So I'll put that as types of text. And one other thing is, I know not everyone likes poetry, but I've noticed that's something the children struggle on. So I was thinking maybe having that as one of a key focus on one of
we could have that.
Everyone else feels about that.
No, I think if we've got a poem that's already there, that's standardized, and we've got linked resources that link in with that, then I think it should be all right. If the resources are there, the answers are there, people feel confident, and it'll develop. The students need to know it, so that'll be we could have that as well. Like I said, we're going to try it, guys, and if it works, can you imagine how amazing it's going to be? Just like we know everything's there, we can follow it, we can help, we can even within the lesson, we can share resources, we know where everyone's at, and it just gives you guys that standardized approach. I think in the long run, it's going to be helpful for everyone. So what we'll do then is, so let me just quickly stop this here. Let me go on this. So I'm just going to check where we're up to, and then I think Anissa, you're happy to lead on this, aren't you? You've mentioned.
Yeah, so I'll still message everyone. So I've got everyone's key points. I've just jotted down now anyways. And then if I come with like a quick plan, I'll send it to everyone anyways. And if anyone wants to tweak it, honestly, feel free. Like I'm not a teacher, so just let me know and I'll just put it in and we'll just tweak it that way.
Yeah. Basically, we're not teachers, guys, but what I do want you to become is like leaders within your like classes, because if you can lead, you'll be able to do loads of things in life as well, because you're all relatively new, you started out in life, and I want you to develop skills, like be able to like lead a team. So with Anissa, hopefully you can help lead some of them, and within your team, that you guys should help each other out as well. So this is kind of what I wanted. This was where we're up to. Okay, so I'm going to assume we've decided on key topics, but that's going to be ongoing. So within that group, that group I've made on WhatsApp, please use that. It's like, use it, ask each other, tell us, or I think if you remember something later on, you say, oh, we should put this in definitely. If you think, oh, hang on, this isn't working for my group, let us know as well. And then we can all work together to come up with a plan. So the aim is we develop the resources. I'll make planning easier, but we want to launch this, like we want to say good to go from Monday the 28th. So basically most people do the lessons on the Tuesday onwards. So 1st of March, so 1 week, we want to start running with this. Every week, just check in with each other on text or WhatsApp, how it's going, if there's anything you need to work on. And then we'll just start delivering that from now on. We'll even come up with a standardized check-in test and a checkout test. Anissa, you will need, Nabila, Anissa, you guys will need help from everyone. So ask us as well. Just ask anyone in year one, what can you suggest something? Or if you've got little tasks, say, could you, Naima, can you do this one for me? Could you design this checkout test? Or, so something that's going to be helpful for them, for the classes they teach as well. So that way you're not doing extra work for the sake of it. You're helping each other, but you're helping yourself as well. So that's what we need to do. And let me just check. Yeah, 1st of March I've said. So we've got 1 week left, and then we're going to trial it and see how that goes. I did initially I did have like little team members, but I think if like 1 or 2 people do the main bits, it's better, because then it's consistent. Otherwise we'll have different styles and different fonts and everything. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So is there anything anyone wants to add?
I don't think so.
No? Go on. If you have got, just let me know. I know whoever that was.
I was just going to say, so say with maths,
Oh,
if we create a list of topics that we're going to cover from now on, if we've already covered it already, what are we doing with that?
We're gonna so for example, we're gonna use the one that Anissa and Anissa makes or Nabila make for now. If we've covered it already, we're gonna either do maybe a space lesson, but if you think you can cover it in greater depth, do that as well. But you can use it as, you can use a space lesson for that one, because we're just literally finding out what works and what doesn't, and then we can review from there.
What I was thinking was, so let's just say you've covered something, but I put it to a later date, but you've already done it. So whatever I put for that original date, switch it with that one.
Okay.
Then you've at least covered the topic that you should have covered, but obviously we've not created the plan, so then you can just switch it for now, and then when we start again from like the beginning in September, at least then we can all still follow that same structure, like continuously.
Perfect. Yeah. So we'll do that. That's fine. Yeah. So so you can just that's
just switch it yourself.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
And just before we, I wanted to show. I was gonna I had loads of things, but I know time we're going on forever. One thing I wanted to just quickly show you was the baseline tests that we do. So when we've not done it yet, but we're gonna, I think with the primary teachers, with all your classes, maybe give this a go. Let me show you what it is. So a while ago, one of my plans is whenever a student, and this is for Jana, this is your little bit now. So whenever a new student joins in, when a new student enrolls, if they're in primary school, so if they're in year 4, year 5, year 6, or year 7, we're gonna, and they've enrolled, they've registered, we're gonna give them a check-in test, not a check-in test, like a baseline test. I've made these for maths and English, and let me show you. So the teacher can, you guys can give it to your classes going forward as like a warm-up task next lesson. So if everyone does that, so you're going to click, if they're in year 4, year 5, year 6, click on it. Some of them have done this. And the good thing is the marks are, it works out itself. I've designed it so that they just go in within the lesson, they'll fill that in, and then it's a multiple choice question, just waiting, loading a little. So I've selected questions that are like a range of topics, and okay, it's taking a while. So, and they're all multiple choice. Can you see but they're not just random multiple choice. They're there to catch them out so they don't guess, and also it identifies misconceptions. So then they'll just put the answers in, and then you can see their responses here when it's populated. And that will give you a rough idea of, when you're thinking of a space lesson, you can say, okay, if none of my class could do this, I'll do that. And then, and if you click on this, or it will already be on a spreadsheet anyway. So you should be able to find it on a spreadsheet, and then for your classes what level they're at, and not level, but what topics they can and can't do. So this is what we are going to do. So for Jan, going forward from now on, when we're in the admin team, when we have our own meetings, you, me and Ikra, I'll show you the link that you will be giving to them so that they can do the test before they join the lesson at Aim High. And then it gives the teacher a bit of an idea of where they're at, and they'll be able to see their scores. If you're not sure about this, I'll go over it again, in the WhatsApp group. But would that be helpful, just to get a baseline of where the kids are at?
Yeah.
Because there's one for maths and there's one for English as well. There's a SPAG one and a reading one. So SPAG, again, it just gives you a quick temperature check of where they're at. So you're going to just give them that one. So what I suggest is this: for all your classes, give that to them. And the way you're going to do this is like this. So you're going to click on your link and click on send. And you could even do it yourself first and then see how it goes. Send, and then copy link. So you click on that. If you want to shorten the link, you just do that. And then you copy that, and then you could just paste it into the WhatsApp, into the Zoom chat, and then they can have a go, and they can tell them, look, this is one of your starter tasks. For the first 10 minutes, you're going to do this. That's lesson planned. For those of you that are in face-to-face classes, a bit harder for you. You're going to have to print it, click print, and then print it 2 per page. Maybe Fajana could do that if you're in the charitably, and then so that everything is on the page, 2 per page, so you don't miss out any questions. You see, it might be, oh, it's quite a lot of pages. So we'll come to that, but yeah, that's one way of doing it if you're in the face-to-face branches. But then you'll have to mark it yourself in that one. It won't mark it itself, and I can give you the answers to those. Is that okay? So that will give all your classes a rough baseline, so you'll know where they are approximately based on those topics. Okay. Anything else, guys?
No, I don't think so.
A lot of overloading today. Just double check. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'm gonna send out this PowerPoint, so then you've all got it as well, and then you can look through it. So going forward, then this is the plan. Anissa, Nabila, you guys are okay doing what you? So are we all happy to help them out if they need any help, or if they give you little tasks to do, you can do those? Yeah. Even if it's like download it, could you download this? So then it makes it easier, and then we'll do that. So by Monday, next Monday, we're ready to launch whatever we're teaching. We're just all going to be teaching systematically the same thing. Yeah. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We'll fix it. Yeah. Cool. I think that's it, guys. Thanks so much for your time. I know it's been a long day. Has anyone got questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, Mariam, you're okay?
Yeah, I'm okay, thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right then, guys, I'll see you all in the WhatsApp group. If you've got any questions, let me know. If you want to hang around, ask any other questions, I'm here for a few more minutes anyway. If not, see you later.
Thank you.
Welcome.
You.
Take care. Bye.
Nice to meet you all.
Guys. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, can I just quickly ask you a question?
Yeah, of course, that's what I'm here for. Go for it.
Sorry, because obviously, you know.
1 second. I'll stop the record.
Okay, that's fine.
Stop the recording.
Because obviously, you know, with the high branch, it's a bit more different.
Yes.
Given that students coming at different points, and I get the structure of it, but how I would have gone about it in terms of sticking with the basics of addition, subtraction, division, and then the main skills if it comes to maths.
Yeah.
And then go from there, then the lesson content, if it is, you know, based on week to week, if we're following the Aim High curriculum.
Yeah.
So again, some parents usually come in saying like, oh, I want this area covered, or they struggle with this, or the student might say it themselves.
Yeah.
But then
yeah,
just
that's
thinking
fine.
how would that still be okay just for the time being?
So because with you guys it's slightly different, because it's literally one student. With these lot, they sometimes have 12 students in a class, and so we just need a standard. So with you, that's fine, you can do that. But what you could do is, like, you could have the Aim High curriculum as your skeleton.
Sure. Yeah.
Let me just.
And I can tell the parents